Hey everybody, greetings from Surf Camp, Nia Bay, Washington. I'm hiding out from the wind here, but if you stay to the end of the video, I'll show you a picture of the beach. I want to talk about plant synergy and verification of plant synergy. I think there's a problem that very few people seem to understand what synergy is, and I'm going to be producing a few short videos that hopefully help describe that in more detail. And we can verify synergistic effects through detailed pharmacologic investigation and by clinical studies that are performed in comparison with synthetic reference drugs. And one definition of synergy involves the cooperative effects when multiple plant chemicals interact to produce something where the whole of their interactions is greater than the sum of their parts. And we can more specifically define synergy as occurring when multiple chemicals have these greater effects that in a method that's called the isobole method of Birnbaum, and it is one of the very practical methods in terms of ability to design experiments, and it's also very effective in demonstrating clinical synergy. The image you'll see here is a graph where the scientists are looking at two different chemicals from the ginkgo plant and how they affect blood clotting and platelet activation factor. And the graph, you will see that the interactions are concavely curved towards the 0 point, and in this case that shows a synergistic effect. If they were to follow that dotted line, that would be simply an additive effect. And if the curve were mirrored in the opposite direction, that would actually be pharmacologic antagonism. So that is a very effective way to do it. With synergy, we have something that commonly occurs known as the polyvalent effect. Multiple biochemical pathways need to be hit at the same time, so you can't have synergistic effects with single molecule drugs that are just hitting the same target. And we have a lot of new science, and with the advent of AI, new technologies and advances are coming out that are demonstrating the advantages of multi-target botanicals in clinical trials, and many clinical trials of plant extracts that are studied in parallel with patented synthetic reference drugs for the same indication have been done. So they're comparing them with a known drug effect, and in all cases the superiority of the plant extracts over the single chemical drugs has been demonstrated, with the plant mixtures and preparations fully equivalent to the reference drugs, but with the added benefit of fewer or no side effects. And part of what's happening, I think, is that this approach to therapy addresses not only robustness but also disturbances in these biochemical networks, rather than searching for individual pathways, individual targets, such as single disease causing genes. And we're starting to begin to have a large body of evidence on this right now. Over 200 placebo-controlled randomized clinical trials, with over half in comparison with the synthetic reference drugs, have been performed, and the results have almost surprisingly shown that there is a significant therapeutic equivalence, but very importantly, I think, less toxicity with the plants. I think that that's one of the really it's one of the things I wish I heard more in the popular discussion of synergy, is that it's not only just about equivalency or superiority of effects, but also decreased toxicity. And in some of these trials, the plant preparations are showing superiority over the standard preparations, not only in terms of effects, but also in terms of tolerability, which I stated. So anyway, in the next video, I want to talk about 4 possible mechanisms that underlie synergistic effects. You can find me, Dr. Jake Felice, and more of my videos at sweetwaterholistic.com. I really appreciate you listening and being here. I'm going to be doing a few more videos from the beach today, or rather this week, because it's hot in Washington and we're going to be cool by the coast here, enjoying ourselves, having fun, getting our work done, and surfing every day. Stay tuned for that little clip of the coast. Really appreciate you listening. Give these videos likes, comments, and shares. And thanks again. Appreciate y'all. Okay, everybody. Thanks for tuning in so far. It's a little windy on the beach, so I'm talking here as we're walking out from the campsite. This is beautiful Nia Bay, Washington, northwest U.S. coast. The water is still pretty far out and the tide has to come in, so we're going to wait. Sorry, I'll still this. We're going to wait for high tide before we get in the water. And this is one of my absolute favorite places on this earth. I would say waves are probably shoulder high out there. You see some folks in the inside there surfing, but it's kind of closing out on the outside. Anyway, I would consider this one of my favorite spots on the planet. Nia Bay, northwest Washington coast. Thanks for listening.